Thank you very much, panel. Interested in what the police officer was saying and what measures have been put in place to try and help the women. My question is on the corruption aspect. Yes, people go to police and report these matters. I'm a lawyer by profession, and I have had clients who have suffered in the hands of police due to corruption. Corruption to help the women themselves, but corruption also supporting the perpetrators of some of these atrocities. How are you as police being intentionally ensuring that this vice is dealt with? Thank you.
Thank you so much. One more time, my name is Nicholas. I am volunteering with UWONET, but I have also worked in Makerere University for the last 3 years. Now, in Makerere, I will speak in supplement of the Gen Z, the representative that was in front. 1. Harassment in politics in Makerere is on the rise. So my suggestion in every space I get is that we should invest in mentoring the women that are putting interest in leadership in these institutions. 2, when you hear the history of the Beijing +30, there is minimal mention of men involved. So I think the men in this room, this is our chance to shine. That in the 60+, there will be men that are being mentioned. So we don't need to put this as a picture that men are not supposed to be in the picture. This is our chance to place ourselves in the picture. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Moses Tumusime from Harm Reduction and Reproductive Health Initiative from Barara, where the BIC, I want to raise an issue. We work most especially with people who use drugs, including injecting. And on that very note, I want to let UWONET and other actors here know that there are girls, young women, and adults who use drugs. And they are violated a lot. I think police can also comment. You know, some of them come from the ghettos. They look like criminals themselves, but they are being violated. So it's very important to look into that issue. Lastly, this is a revolution. We must focus on progressive mind conditioning. Revolutions take a long time to achieve the results. I want to leave one question here. How are we strategically raising our own children to address this matter? Thank you.
Hello, I am Amrita. Safeguarder in every space that I take. I would like to thank UWONET first of all for bringing community voices. Because most times when we're talking, we don't see the real picture, so it adds the value to why we exist and why we can keep on raising our voices and what issues that count. I think for me, there are two things. One is the police form 3 that victims of sexual gender-based violence have to access, and the other bit is the psychosocial counseling or the mental health aspects, because when we're looking at justice, you'll find that the girl who is reporting on the family are victimized more than actually the victim. In the village, you'll hear the story go more, and the girl's identity will be all over and she'll be looked at as some loose person, and there will be no focus on the perpetrator. So that's why we struggle to even have male champions, because most times we're talking about men as perpetrators, but that's not our intention. So I'm just saying, how do we support hard-to-reach places to access police form 3 and to make sure they're always printed in the different points of access? Because most times victims are charged. They will say there's no transport, the forms are out, we need to photocopy. And then also victims of sexual violence suffer to access medical persons to do the medical exam. So I think that's an issue that we really need to talk about. And then finally, in terms of reporting cases, I think we also need to celebrate successful cases often on gender-based violence and sexual gender-based violence, because If we don't see successful stories out there, then it discourages many families of girls and women who have been raped and defiled from reporting. You find these cases being resolved, under the mango tree, yet there are certain cases that you can't compromise over. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to move to this side.
Thank you so much. Once again, I'm Reverend Father Noah Pasha Betty from Namotoba district. However, I had so many issues I had wanted to mention, but now what I'm requesting, I'm going to make a video whereby I want to share with everybody here, but I want how can I best reach on the, how can I access how I can share with you, because I can see time is limited, yet I had something to share with you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Mama, and
my name is Hope Jemima Kasimbazi. I've been representing private sector foundation in Uganda on women and children's issues. I can't say much because I've limited my time. Number one, I'd like us to recognize Mrs. Teresa Bide. She attended a conference of 1985 in Nairobi, and when she came back to Uganda, she mobilized other women and she formed Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association. I am a member there, and that association has groomed and helped women to excel in business. Clap for her. I am also in business, and women who are working in private sector are suffering quietly because of sexual harassment. I'd like us to advocate for that bad manners of men who harass women, especially the bosses. Because I'm nervous now, I had written my points from the beginning. I wanted to start by saying women's rights are legally human rights. We should respect and advocate for them. And then I have already talked about the advocacy. Yes, at the workplace it's very bad because I've been promoting gender equality still together with UNDP and private sector. I was at the center of it, and some of the people who got awards for managing the gender equality at the workplace were here. And there must be a program which should be put in place like we are doing with UNDP that can advocate for gender-based violence, especially at the workplace. And remember, private sector is the biggest sector. I thank you. Sorry, I have more.
no worries. So let's get Pinky, and then we'll have Natasha, and we will start closing.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Quickly, I would like to go back to what UWONET said, Rita. She emphasized about each of us being each other's keeper, like they cannot do anything much unless we as individuals. I would like to point out one thing, is that recently on internet, I realized that many women are each other's enemies. Like a woman will come up to report a case, and instead of other women backing her up, give her a shoulder, women themselves would bash her down. In example, the recent case of Nisha was the victim, but women said bashing the mother and forgot Nisha was the victim. So I would encourage all of us as women to at least support each other. Mothers support our children. Forget about marriage, what the husband, the family, and the daughters. Let us stand for each other's daughters. Let us be each other's keeper. That is my main point. Then finally, I would like to encourage all of us to use the power of social media. We may not be the police, we may not reach very many places, but social media today has taken a change. Thank you.
Thank you. Pinky will listen to Natasha. There's one gentleman here, and then we'll have two hands from that side and conclude, unfortunately.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Natasha Nyonyonzi, the Senior Legislative Support. It's an honor to be here today to be part of the conversation like this. And I'm glad that I get to use my platform to advocate for things like this gender-based violence. A great thank you to the panelists that were here earlier. They did a great job. But I'll just add on to saying, I think it is very important to constantly create awareness and educate the young girls at a young age. We shouldn't start speaking about things at an old age. So go down to the grassroots, educate the young girls about their value, like Honorable said. So telling the girls are very valuable. Not so long ago we had an outreach with Balls of Life in Michiana, the outskirts of Michiana, and we spoke to the young girls telling them they need to keep themselves safe. They need to speak up if something like that happens. And we constantly referred to what you would say, your flower, as a Uganda. Like, this is not something you just speak out to anyone, regardless of the situation you're in. Yes, you might not have money. Some excuses were, I don't have money to buy a sanitary towel, but that shouldn't be the reason why you're giving that part away. And with that, we're also able to give them reusable sanitary towels, so you don't hear excuses like that. But I think it's also important for parents to create a safe space for their children, because like some of the speakers were saying earlier, the perpetrators are in our own homes. You know, parents are doing that to their own children. But parents need to create a safe space and remind their children that they need to speak up if something like this happens. And also to add on to the social media thing. Yes, social media is where some of these cases may start from, but I think also, like Nesha said, it's the same tool that we can use to speak up about what's happening. You know, people sharing their success stories, someone said earlier as well. It's very important because it encourages someone else to do the same. You know, they're now empowered to do that. They're not shy anymore because there's stigma around it. But come on, someone's life is on the line here, so speak up. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Benjamin, and one, I want to thank Honorable Miriam Matebe when we are speaking about the 16 days of activism. I think she's a true activist. And I want to say that on such days it's very important that we inspire activists. In her space, she says she has a big position, but she has been able to do a lot. And I think that's a challenge to all of us. A lot of us are in positions that even have more powers, but we are doing nothing. And as I was speaking about activism, activism is about doing something. So what are you doing in your space? And I want to implore UWONET, as I know next year, September, because the Beijing platform came into action on 15 September 1995, so next year is making the 30 years. Maybe on such occasion, we should be able to recognize and reward persons like Dr. Matebe. We should be rewarding them so that it inspires activism. You know, that is just what Commissioner Maureen, I mean, when we reward and recognize their efforts, others can get challenged and inspired to do something about gender-based violence. Thank you.
One minute. Thank you. 1 minute. Victim blaming. Thank you, Rita, for raising it. Thank you, my sister, for raising about Misha's issue. We need to demand for witness protection. When it comes to hate speech, police, when it comes to hate speech against the president, the first family, police will go running with respect. But when it came to Aisha, when it came to Nisha, where was police? They did not arrest any TikTokers, yet there were many. Apart from a statement being issued, oh, you people bring evidence, etc. But no one has been arrested. And this was a serious offense. Yes, innocent until proven guilty. But these two needed protection. UWONET came in, UWONET. When we will, I think we need to demand for certain things. We lack a witness protection. No. These issues, we don't have money. Then how are we protecting our survivors? How will they
they get access to justice when they cannot get protection from their families, from the community, and from the public? Second issue, and I last, sorry, I'm giving access to justice, but when it comes to women and girls with disabilities, yes, doctor, you said, oh, that one. I need statistics, honestly, because their trauma starts from birth, starts from the family level. But they are victims of GBV in various forms. Even accessing justice, they undergo the fourth trauma. So can we have data? Can we have responses, especially for women and girls with disabilities, survivors of GBV? Thank you.
And then when I get responses from the police, I don't know if it's 1 minute because we have to wind up, unfortunately.
Thank you very much. I wanted to highlight the filing of complaints. And I think in this digital era, we should be doing away with the face-to-face complaint filing and leverage on anonymous filing for these complaints. In the event the victims don't get that much protected, we also need to build confidence so that when they report, they will indeed get justice. I also wanted to speak to the annual crime report. I think we need to look at the prosecution success rate and also document these successes and throw them around, because success reporting emboldens those that are not coming up. The other is unreported, uncaptured, and unaddressed cases. They are living in our community, and yet our communities are endowed with resources that can close in the gap. So I think community empowerment is very central. There are also champions in these communities. The faith-based, the traditional institutions need to be empowered. We should also, this is lastly, in my recommendations, if platforms like this, when they say bring a friend, bring your child, I brought my daughter here. She's 12 years. She's hearing, she's listening from the champions, and she requested at some point, if it will please you, she takes a picture with you, and she'll tell her friends, I was with the...
Thank you.